You are watching this video on the internet, which has a lot of content to consume. But most of us tend to lean towards the most pleasurable sides of it, in terms of the cheap dopamine hit we get, because it is the most easiest and the default one, right? But it has a lot of aspects to it. It has some useful information, such as podcasts and lectures that could transform us into the best version of ourselves. That would translate into confidence, charm, articulation, competence, leadership, and other qualities that are the most desired. But our inclination tends to favor the degenerate loop of pointless consumption that only provides us with just an escape from our existence that consists of problems and complications that we don't want to face. That in turn makes us more irritable, decreases our attention span and our stress tolerance. It's very easy to fall into degeneracy if we don't choose where we want our focus to be. A few months ago, I had a thought that I think is very relevant to this discussion. I went to a place where I had some good time. Now, what if I didn't go to this place? Nothing. I just would not be able to have a good time. Then I realized that there are a lot of places to go, and they exist either you visit there or not. Their existence remains hidden unless you put your attention there. Likewise, the lifestyles to live and the things to do are endless in our lives. It is just our choice which option to choose. And if you don't choose, life will choose it for you, and it won't be the pleasant one. All heard that our attention and time are very valuable. But why though? Because we have unlimited potential and we can unlock it by voluntarily focusing on the things that will do just that. Now listen carefully. Most of the people don't know what they are capable of because they don't try to find out, because it requires deliberate attention and focus. Why do some people make millions in a month whereas others barely make up for the rent? Because of the value they provide. And where does it come from? From focusing on the things that make us valuable. Sure, scrolling on social media might teach us a few things here and there, but that would be nothing as compared to the deliberately focused deep work. We don't realize that we can be much more than we are right now. And why aren't we? Because we lack focus. This all binds with the concept of delayed gratification very neatly. If we endure the pain of not indulging in gratification in the present moment, we will get that pleasure in the future, and vice versa. I know this concept, and I'm still struggling to implement it in my life. I have to constantly remind myself again and again. And this is how much the focus decides the trajectory of our life. Our mind goes back to the default action mode once we forget the importance of our voluntarily decided goals. It is very easy to lose track of what you want to focus on and suddenly end up wasting years of our life. There is a line that Dr. Jordan B. Peterson mentions a lot. I don't know where that is from, but the line is pick your poison. Pain and discomfort are inevitable. We can't escape them. Sure, we might be able to delay them from the present moment, but that doesn't mean that they're gone. We have just ignored elephant in the room by distracting ourselves by indulging in social media and other short-term means of gratification. It is very intelligent to realize that pain, no matter what, will strike again and might even multiply if we continue to ignore it for a substantial amount of time. We must acknowledge that pain is the essential truth of life and we must come in terms with it. We must embrace the pain of starting that conversation instead of regretting it later. We must learn to embrace the negative emotion so that we can have gratitude when we face the positive ones. Through the dark times, we learn the value that good times hold. For focusing on the right things, we have to sacrifice instant gratification and convenience. Seeking discomfort in the present would result in more pleasure in the future. For example, if you eat donuts every day, you would not be able to get the same level of gratification every single day. On top of that, you would be destroying your health and getting addicted to the product. On the other hand, if you start eating that donut once a week, it would be hard to do so, but it would be much delicious than before and will be less unhealthy for you. Plus, you would be breaking out of that addiction. Once you know how tasty that donut is after a week as compared to every day, the pain of not eating it for the whole week would make up for it. This same analogy can be used for defining focus. If we focus on staying on the path that we have decided for ourselves, we know that it will be very hard to stay on that path because of the uncertainty, pain, discomfort, suffering. But it would be much more worthwhile to voluntarily confront those rather than dwelling into the swamp of our own indecisiveness that will lead to nothing. Whereas the negative emotions will give us a stronger mind, the capability to endure. In short, it will shoot us up in the sky in terms of improvement we get in our character, values, skills by the learnings we get from them. If the focus isn't controlled and put to the place where we want it to go towards, the loop of default will continue. It will be very hard to break the loop, but it is very worth it as it saves us in the long term. If we don't get out of it, it will get stronger and more hard to break. So don't procrastinate on it. Put your focus in the right place.